Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Hello, everyone. Today, the respected guest I do have with me on my this YouTube channel and Facebook channel is Mr. Badis Diab. He's just 30 years old, and he is based right now. In these days, he is based in Paris, France. And the brief intro I would give over here is that he is a writer, humanitarian, and founder of NGO Unity. He is, you can say, he has worked, or currently is also working. He has worked in 58 countries with different causes. You can say in different continents. I think if he is working in 58 countries, means around in all continents he is working. And the causes basically he is working for his education and working for the people, you can say children, for their childhood. And after that, healthcare, and especially he is working for disabled people and ecology. Mr. Badis is basically a person who has devoted his whole life. If we see that a person who is working in 58 countries means in a very, you can say, short, you can say, lifespan, especially in only 30 years of age, he has worked 58 countries, means he visits those areas. He worked over there. He, you can say, researched those people, and many more. I think maybe I couldn't be able to, you can say, explain each and everything. First, I would request Mr. Badis Diab to kindly introduce a bit more detail about his work and about his working. Sir, please.
First, thank you very much for the invitation, Brother Mustafa. It's a real pleasure to share this interview with you and to share this interview with your audience. Basically, I'm Badis Diab, as you said. I'm 30 years. I'm Algerian, but I'm living in France, in Paris. I was born and I raised here. And I'm working as humanitarian since 6 years ago now. I started to found a foundation that worked in the education in Africa in 2016 in 12 countries. I worked in the education area during 3 years. And in 2019, so 2 years ago, I decided to create an international NGO that is working, as you said before, in 58 countries over the world, in all continents. And we work for different causes like the childhood, the education, the health, the ecology, the right women's, the disabled people, and the old people also. And we try to help each people, whatever the difference of the skin color, whatever the difference of the religion or the tradition of the culture. We try to help everyone for make a world connection between the rich people and the poor people, you know. And close to that, I'm also a writer, as you said, and I'm writing about my work, about my humanitarian work, and I try to talk with the person here in Europe or in North America to the rich people who are totally disconnected of the real world, for tell them that there is a misery in the world, there is an extreme poverty, and we have to change and resolve it.
Thank you very much for such a beautiful and brief introduction, sir. Sir, I would like to ask a question that why did you choose this profession? Why not the other professions? Why only this profession of helping people in chaos?
That's a really good question. You know, I think I will never find the answer, the specific answer to that question. But you know, I was born and I raised in France. You know, in Paris, very far of the poverty, very far of the extent of the misery. You know, and during my life, my race was only to to keep the maximum of money, to buy the maximum of stuff, to enjoy holiday in Miami or in Dubai, you know. But when I was 25, something happened in my life. For my work, I traveled in Africa, in Ghana, and I stayed there 1 week. It was only a work travel, you know, and I saw for the first time of my life what we call the misery, what we call the extreme poverty. It was really difficult for me, you know, to see this horrible social situation by my age, you know. So when I come back in France, I decided to work, to do something, to talk with the people in Paris, in France, to tell them that I saw something that is not normal, you know, because we are totally disconnected in France about the reality of the world, about the poverty in Africa, in Asia, in South America, you know. We think that the life is only to enjoy it, you know, and I couldn't accept it. So I decided in 2016, just after my travel, to open a foundation, as I just said before, to help the African children. And then the years after years, I forwarded in that way, you know. And now I think that I cannot do anything else than working in humanitarian to help the people, to connect the people, whatever the difference.
That's wonderful. It
Thank
means
you.
miseries around you basically motivated you and told you that there is not, you can say, merrymaking is everything, but people who are in misery, who are in problem around you, or you can say in third world or somewhere else, you really felt that and you tried to start work for those people. That's
Exactly.
really wonderful, sir.
Exactly.
So I
Thank
do have another question. How do you differentiate between your work life and private life? Because I saw you are working all the time in one country or the other, and you are on traveling nearly all the time. How do you you can say differentiate between your private life and the work life? Because I don't think clues of private life that because you are normally busy every time in your working and helping people in different countries.
That's a really good question. And to be honest with you, sometimes it's not every time easy, you know, to work a lot and to see our family, our friends, you know. Sometimes it's very difficult, but the most important when we got the passion of what we are doing in our life is to get around us the people who have the same passion. Is very important, you know, because I need that the people help me when it's difficult for me. I need to talk with the people around me, with my friend, with my family. I need they accept it, you know. And I'm very, very lucky because all my friends, all my family support me in what I'm doing, you know. So finally, my private life is very fine. I try to find a way for my family, for my friend, but you know, we are talking about the work, but it's not really a work. It's more than that, you know. It's a mission. It's the sense of my life, you know. What I'm doing now to help the people on the poverty is not my work. It's my mission on that world, you know. That's why I don't see if I'm tired or not. I'm working 7 days a week, you know. I'm not I'm not taking care about me. I'm not important, you know, because I'm living, as I told you before, I'm living in Paris. I'm lucky to have these quality lives, you know. But I know that thousand million of people don't know if they're gonna eat today, if they're gonna feed their childrens. And this I cannot accept it every morning when I wake up. That's why now it's definitely more than a walk. Is the sense of my life, and this is my mission.
It's really wonderful. If something becomes a passion of a person, that you can say that it itself creates a way.
Definitely. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Sorry, I don't hear you. I don't hear you. Now I hear you.
Thank you, sir. My headphone was not, microphone was not working at that time.
That's fine.
So sorry for the interruption.
That's fine.
Sir, I was wrapping up your answer, and it was that if something becomes a passion of a person's life, then it creates its own way. And what is, you can say, actually happening with you, that you tell that you are saying that your family is supporting you. It means that they are, whatever time you try to give them, they, you can say, happily accept that time. Then
Exactly.
another question that, how much time then in that case could you find for your family? Could you spare for your family? Because working and the overburden of working all the time, do you give your family time, especially online while video chatting, or physically going over there? Because I think it's very difficult. Because if a person is working even in a single country, it becomes very difficult for him to manage his family. But working in, you can say, in all the continents, it means very less time for the family. How do you manage that?
So for the moment, I think it's same for all of us. Because of the COVID-19, we stay in our home. Everything is locked down, and we cannot go out of our country. I cannot travel because the French government don't allowing me to travel anyway. So I think that since the beginning of the COVID, I don't travel a lot because I have to stay in France. But my organization is special in the way we are not traveling as French people directly on the field. I don't like this attitude. To go like European in Africa or in Asia for help the people. I directly made a collaboration with the local people. So I have ambassadors in each country. We have something like 400 volunteers all over the world, reparting in the 58 countries. And this is only local people. If you follow our operation every day in our social network, you will see that in all operation, you see the local people in the pictures and the video. It's very important for me, because they know better than us the situation of their own countries. They know better than us the misery and the poverty of their own country. So they have to help. We just support them financially with our NGO. By this way, I stay a lot in France, so I'm with my family every day. So I found a way to share my life between my family and my mission.
Are you hearing me, sir? Uh,
Now hear you now.
Thank you, sir. So, my next question is that, to be very frank, how do you find the people in collaboration in different countries? Do you think that the people to whom you collaborate to work in their own countries, do you think that uh, they are serious towards solving their own people's problem, or you find them that they are not that much serious as your organization or you are working? This is very different question. Sorry, I have to
No,
ask you
I
this question.
totally understand you. I totally understand you, and this is a good question anyway. But I think now I got a lot of experience in the humanitarian area, so I know make the difference how to make the difference between the serious people and the people who are not serious and who don't want to really help. So that's why now I travel a lot around the world, and I know the different culture, the different tradition in each country. By example, I'm working a lot in Pakistan with my NGO, and I know that the people in Pakistan are not the same that the people in Nepal, and the people in Nepal are not the same that the people in Africa, you know, and in the West Africa they are not the same of the East Africa. So I know how to talk with them. You know, it's important to don't be the same with the people because they are not the same. They have a different culture, different religion, uh, different tradition. You know, a different language too. So they are different, and I know how to find the good people. And I think that now I'm very happy because I'm with this NGO. We are working since 2 years, and I never had one bad ambassadors. You know, I never had a bad partnership. I only found very good people, young people who want to help their sisters and brothers in their own countries. You know, in Pakistan, in India, in Nepal, in Bangladesh, in all Africa, in many countries in South America, they are really motivated. They want to change the world, you know. And what I saw in my life is really amazing. The people are really wonderful. You know, there's many people who don't trust on the humanity, on the young people, on the woman, on the men. But from my side, I trust on them, you know, because I saw a lot of beautiful things and the life is beautiful. I think it's important to tell it now, you know.
Yeah. It means you have experienced many countries and you saw that people of every countries are different according to their cultures, their language, the way they work, and the way they welcome to person who is not of their own country. So,
Mm.
which people or which countries people you saw more helpful and welcoming? Means I'm not asking about to differentiate between them. Just it is a question like you think that you when you were working over there, you were really enjoying because the energy, the enthusiasm they were showing to help their own people was remarkable. Which country did you see it?
You know, I think sometimes there's some countries where they are not using to see French people. You know, by example, in Pakistan, when I started to work in Pakistan, it was a bit difficult at the beginning because the people are not using to see French people because maybe about the history. You know, Pakistan is more closer than UK. You know, and with the people in UK but not with the French people particularly. You know, at the beginning it was a little bit difficult, and sometimes it's like that. It's about the politic vision, the politic area. They are not choosing to see French people coming, so sometimes it can be difficult. But my role is to go ahead. You know, is to find the solution and to try to help whatever the difference, you know, it's really important for me. And I try to find a way, a relationship between the French people and the people, by example, in Ghana, in Nigeria, in Pakistan, in India, in this kind of country who don't have any relationship with French, you know. And some it was difficult in this kind of countries, but if we work equal to the people, from human to human, if we respect ourselves, if we accept ourselves, then we can find a way. That's why now I'm working in 58 countries because I establish a very good relationship with the people. You know, we are equal. You know, even if I bring a help from Europe or in North America, I'm not better than someone who need help. You know, I try to tell them. You know, and this is the most important: is the comportment, is the attitude that we have with the people.
So it means that when you are there to help people, people when see that you are over there to help them out, in their problem, then they accept you and they let you work more freely in their country for their own people. And this is the thing that basically let you work more freely in that country, whether the country is very close to France or not.
Exactly.
Last 10 years, because the speed with which you people are working is very great, is very rapid, you can say. You said that you started working around 2015 or 16,
Yeah.
and by then you have visited or you people are working around 58 countries. If you people keep on working with the same speed, where do you see your organization in the next 10 years to come?
I my project is to grow up the organization for sure, because when we are managing an NGO like that, working in 58 countries, we are like an entrepreneur, because we try to find a way to grow up the organization. So I'm thinking a lot about this, and my objective is to develop it in 90 countries before the end of the year. For that, I'm now looking where is the most needed people, where is the misery work, where the misery is the most powerful. And in Asia, in South America, especially because I'm working most of the time in Africa. So I try to develop a lot my organization in other countries in Asia, in South America. And it's not easy, but if we did it in 58 countries, there is no reason that we don't do it again in 30 countries more. So principally, my main objective now is to develop it in 90 countries in the before the end of the year.
For this, I think you people are very, you can say, uh, planned and working in a very good way, and you have decided that where you people will be working by the end of this, you can say, year. Yes, sir. My another question is that what is most severe problem you people, you can say, you saw wherever where you people visited, and you think that their own countries are, you can say, paying no attention towards that problem. If I could not, you can say, clarify my question, I would repeat it.
No,
What
the
problem?
question is very clear. Uh,
Okay, then. Thank you, sir. Please.
I would say that the main problem that I find in each country now, in most of the 58 countries where I'm working, is definitely the education. It's the most problem that we found in each country, because all countries on their own problem are different. By example, in the West Africa, we can see that I'm talking about Ethiopia, about Kenya, about Sudan. There is a real problem of food. There is thousands of million people who don't know if they're gonna eat today, if they're gonna feed their own children. So I think that in this region is probably the food. And if we go in Asia, I think it's the problem of the education. And but this problem I found it everywhere, because it's a political problem. It's not a humanitarian problem. We can. I did it with my organization when I started in 2016 in the humanitarian area. I worked in the education, so basically I provided each week the school supplies for the children, like the book, like the pen, like the bag. But it's not enough, because when we give the material to the children, it's only the first step. Then there is another step, to provide the knowing to the children. And it's very important. And I found this problem in South America. I found this problem in Africa, and I found this problem in Asia. I want to know why some children, thousands of million children, they have some between 10 and 15 years, they are not in the school, they are working. This is not normal. This is not normal for the society. This is not normal for our civilization, and this is not normal for the future. You know, because here in Europe, I grew up in the school. You know, I started to work when I was 20 years. Before that, I was in the school. You know, and I think that the children need to go to the school. The place of the children is in the school, is not in the work, you know, whatever the situation of the countries. And this is a political problem. This is the responsibilities of the political powers, you know, and we can do what we want in the humanitarian area. We could not resolve this problem. We can resolve the problem of the food. We can resolve the problem of the water. We can resolve the problem of the clothes, but we cannot resolve the problem of the education with the humanitarian work. It's a political work, and this is a political problem, definitely, all over the world.
If you are, according to you, basically education is the main problem each and every country is facing, and you think that if the problem education, you can say, has been solved, then you can see that every country will be developing with great speed and you can say in a better way. Did you ever evaluate that what is the most responsible cause for the problem of education in these countries?
As I said, first is about the budget. You know how they manage their own budget. This is a political work to manage a good budget. When you have a budget, the most important part of the budget have to go in 2 points. First, the education. Second, the health. You know, and this is the most important: the education and the health. You know, and unfortunately, and I found it everywhere. It's not only, I'm not talking about only Asia, I'm talking about Africa, I'm talking about South America, and definitely about 60 or 70 countries in the world where the budget is not sharing in the right way, you know. So they have thousands of billion of dollars, you know, but they are not building schools, they are not building hospital, you know. They are thinking about the economy, about the army, but they are not thinking about the poor people, about the children, about the future of the society, you know. So the main problem is that the budget is not sharing in the two most important parts, the education and the health. And believe me, is not only a problem of the poor countries or the countries of the south. I see it here in France also, you know, and there is 1,000 of people on the street who protest about this to the French government, you know. It's true that we are lucky to live in the good quality lives, you know, but in some countries they don't have this luck, you know. It's very difficult to live. So the children, as I said, the government and the politics have to find a way about the health, the hospital, the doctors, you know, to have more doctors to help the people who are in difficult situation, and especially the education, to build school, to find a good professor, and to help the children to stay at the school before until they are 18 years. This is the most the most the most important objective for me for a good civilization.
Okay, that's really a very, you can say, very good answer of the questions. I do have another question for you. Do you think that the digitalization, that is the, you can say, the word is changing towards right now? Do you think that after digitalization in every country, the problem of education will be solved to some extent? Now, how do you think, or how do you see that?
You know, I think that in now I don't see a positive work about the education from the different governments in Asia. When I was a lot in Pakistan, in India, in Bangladesh, in Africa, or in South America, in Colombia, Venezuela, I don't see a positive work, you know. I don't see a positive mind because they are not talking about that, you know. I mean, before to work, there is a first step. And this step is to understand the problem, to identify what is the problem. And I think this is the one of the sense of your question, how to identify the problem, you know. Even as long as we don't identify the problem, we will not resolve it, you know. And that's why now in each countries, this problem is not the first one. We are talking during the 24 hours by day. I don't know what is about Pakistan, but in France, we are talking 24 hours by day about the COVID-19. We are not talking about the education, you know. So we cannot resolve this problem if we don't talk about this, you know, if we don't accept to talk about this. That's why now there is no one region in the world where I see both positive vibes about this problem, you know. For me now, the situation is exactly the same that I saw when I started the humanitarian work in 2016. It's exactly the same. We are not forwarding. We don't try to find a solution. So from us in our side as humanitarian, we try to provide some school suppliers, to provide some pens, some book to help the children just to go to school with that. But it's definitely not enough because we are not supporting by the government, we are not supporting by the politics. So it's very difficult. But I think that we have to keep positive mind. You know, the world will be better because there is a lot of people who are thinking about this, who are talking about this now, and the people will not accept anymore to see children who are walking when they are 9 years. You know, this is not acceptable. You know.
Thank you very much, sir. So
Welcome, brother.
do you think that the standard of education is the main reason of poor management in such countries? Because the education they are providing to their citizens, to their people, is basically outdated education. Because the countries like France, you can say UK, America, Australia, and 3 to 4 countries like these countries means the advanced countries. You can say the basic research, you can say they people are conducting, and whatever new is coming to all the people, all the countries in the third world are getting, you can say, from those countries. If the, you can say, research centers, educational research centers, if you can say are you can say given to these countries also, do you think that the problem can be solved a bit? Because if the poor countries like you can say the third world countries, if they keep on, you can say, give education to their people which is outdated, maybe you have gone through the syllabus they are teaching to their you can say people, they are creating people with no skills after 16 or 18 years of education. The people of those countries are basically have no skills at all. And do you think that the problem is the real problem is the standard of education, not the only education? Do you think that this
I
is
think that yeah, I think that the education is. I don't think that education is the real problem of our civilization. I think that is one of the most important problem. You know, on the problem that I saw in each country. That's why, you know, when you see the same problem in 58 countries, then you can say that this is a big problem. You know, because if you see this problem only in 2 or 3 countries, you say okay, it's only a local problem. This is a world problem, a problem of our civilization, you know. But the main problem, the main issues that I saw in my humanitarian work since 6 years now, it's about the problem of sharing, you know. And it's very important, you know. I'm a writer, as you know, and I'm writing a lot about this. And I try to talk with the people here in Europe, in Germany, in France, in UK, in North America, in Canada, in United States, to tell them that we are definitely responsible of what is happening in the poor world. We are responsible about what is happening in South America, in Africa, and in Asia. Even us, as particular person, as human beings, we are the problem because we don't share a lot, we don't share enough, you know. And when I see by my age here in Paris or in New York, in Washington, that the people want only to earn money, to buy a new house, to buy a new car, to enjoy holiday in the best beautiful place of the world, but they don't think just 1 minute of sharing for a poor family in Africa or in Asia, you know. This is a big problem of our civilization, you know. And I try to tell them here in France, by example, that we are responsible. I consider myself as responsible, you know. I accept it because I live in France, because I live in a good quality life. And this is not normal. It's not normal that I live in a good quality life and that in something like 80 countries they don't know if they're gonna eat today, if they're gonna feed their own children today. You know, this is not normal. It means that I'm in the part of the responsible. You know, I accept it. Now, when I accept it, I have to find a solution. I have to resolve this problem. You know, but the main problem that is that thousands of million people in the north of the world, but I'm talking about China to Russia to Europe until North America, they are totally disconnected of the reality. They don't know anything about what's happening in the world. Here in Paris, they don't know what is Pakistan. They don't know where is Pakistan. You know, it's incredible. We should be a clever country. You know, we are the country of Victor Hugo, of the most famous water of the history. You know, but the people in the street, the people when you stay with the people in the coffee, when you open your TV, you hear that the people are totally disconnected of the reality of the life. They are only talking about the money, about the COVID-19, and that's all. You know, on this problem of disconnection between the poor world and the rich world is is definitely the main problem. You know, my role as someone who was born in France, who was raised in a rich countries, is to make a connection between these two worlds. You know, as long as these two worlds we don't talk together, we will not work together, then we will see the poverty, we will see the misery, we will see the extremism, and we will see the war, definitely.
Thank you very much. So this is
You're welcome.
the question was not, you can say, good enough, but your answer is basically the most important, and you basically turned the answer, you can say, towards the real intention behind the question. This is really a genius of you, sir. Thank you very much
It was a pleasure.
for these things. Sir, my next question is a bit different, and I think maybe um, as you answered my previous question very honestly, and you can say presented what you by yourself think about those things, and this is really a very good and nice thing. So my
Thank you.
question is, do you think that the problem of food is going to be the biggest problem in the world because people, for example, people of the third world are basically have lost the seeds they used once in the previous years, in you can say 25 years back or 50 years back. Now they get, you can say, the researched seed, the seed genetically modified seed, you can say, a kind of seed which has been researched by some country. And what do you think that when the relationship between those countries, you can say, you can say, are uh, going towards some bad situation? What do you think that the country who is researching on the seed, will they be able to give? those genetically modified seeds to the people of the other countries, because I can see that there is a change in, you can say, different blocks. One country is getting into other countries' block, and some, you can say, there is a change of, you can say, different blocks. And not every country has enough resources to research on the food, to research on the seed, specifically they use in their fields to grow. But do you think that the problem of food is going to be more acute, more dangerous in the next days to come, because every country is not, you can say, excel enough, is not proficient enough to produce, you can say, its or her own seed. And my question got very lengthy.
No, your question is very good and very important. I think, you know, we are talking definitely now about the solution, or to find a solution on how is gonna be the next 20 years, on how is gonna be definitely the lives of our children. You know, because I'm working as humanitarian, but I'm working for now, but I'm working also for the future. You know, and it's important to think about the future and how will be the life of our children. You know. So basically, I think I think that the food will be a big problem in the next 10 or 20 years, you know, definitely. But actually, the situation is already horrible right now, you know. It's already horrible. It's crazy. The situation is crazy right now, you know. I can give you now something like 50 countries where most of the people, they don't know if they're gonna eat before the end of the day. They don't know if they're gonna feed their own children before the end of the day. I'm not talking about 2030 or 2040. I'm talking about 2021 right now, you know. It's crazy. I get messages every day about my partnership, my ambassador on the field, who tell me, listen, Badis, there is here something like 40, 50 families. They don't know if they're gonna eat today. They don't have anything. They don't know, they cannot feed their own children. They will probably wait tomorrow for eat something. This is cannot acceptable, you know. So yes, I think that the future will be very difficult for our children, but I think the first step is to think about right now, because right now there are thousands of million people. They're gonna die before the end of the day because they don't have to eat, you know. And if I can talk about the solution, I think that to send them rice and water is not enough. It's definitely not enough. It will help them for sure for 1 week or 2 weeks, but after that, what we will do actually, we have to find a better solution, a solution for the future, you know. And I think that it's what I said before, the sharing is important, because in Europe, in North America, we keep something like 70 or 80% of all the money of that world, of the resource of the world, you know. We get it here and we share it between ourselves here in Paris, you know, and we let the people who die in Africa, in Asia, in South America, you know, this is the most problem. If we can share this money, if we can share this resource to all over the world, we can give to eat, to drink, to each human being of this world. We can do it before the end of the day if we want it. It's only a question of we want or we don't want it, you know? And this is only the question, because I think that the people don't want it here, you know? They want to keep the money, they want to keep the power, you know? They think about, I see that the French people now, the French government, I'm thinking only about the French citizenship, you know. I'm not thinking about the French citizenship. I'm thinking about the people who need. The French citizens don't need to eat, they don't need to drink, you know. But the problem is that the most powerful countries think about themselves, only about themselves, about their citizens, because this is the citizens who decide who will get the power, you know. So it's a political problem, all of that, you know. And for sure, the situation will be I think, horrible, very difficult in the 10 years, in the 15 years, in the 20 years. But, the situation is already really crazy right now, We have to travel for understand it. We have to see it by our eyes for understand it.
It's really a very alarming situation. So,
Exactly.
what I think about the future of food, I think that they have snatched our classical methods of harvesting and given us new methods, you can say, which are costly and out of the reach of poor farmers. Poor farmers cannot afford to buy the new seeds in their countries because the seed they are getting is not basically being produced in their own countries, that come from, you can say, some you can say advanced country, and that they are, you can say, unable to you can say buy that. And many people and many farmers, you can say in even Pakistan and the countries which are more poorer than Pakistan, and the farmers over there are committing suicide because they don't have, you can say, plenty of water. They don't have enough money to purchase the new seeds. And the very alarming situation with the new seeds is this, that they can be used only for 2 or 3 times. And
Exactly.
after that, if you try to, you can say, use them in your fields, you get nothing as a result as crops. I think
Exactly.
that this is the very alarming, and this is something which is basically going to make our people handicapped, and you can say crying for help and crying for, you can say, food in next some years to come. Can you
Yes,
please
exactly.
elaborate it in a more clear way, please? Can you elaborate it, please? Is this the same situation? And do we have any problem? Or the poor countries do have any problem? You can say solution of this? And because
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
visited 50,
Yeah,
from where they can get? Yes, please,
yeah.
please.
I think that the poor country have the exactly the same political problems and the same I think the same problem of strategy. Because it's also because they don't work together. I think that it's important now that the poor African countries and the some Asian countries who are poor, also like Bangladesh, to work together, to stay in the same table for find the problem, for resolve the problem of the poverty, to resolve the problem of the misery, as long as they will not work together, they will not create a power together to find a solution, we will stay in this situation, because they think that they are not the same. I'm Asian, so I'm not the same that the African, and the African think definitely that is not the same that the South American, but they are definitely the same. The poverty is the same all over the world. You can believe me, it's what I saw by my eyes. The poverty is the same in all countries, The poverty is meaning I don't know if they're gonna eat, I don't know if they're gonna drink, I don't know if they're gonna take care of my health, I don't know if they're gonna take care of my children's. This is definitely the poverty, And for that, I think that the people, the governments have to stay in the same table, all the poor countries, and to find a solution against the poverty. They can do it tomorrow if they want, And the next week, we can have a real strategy against the poverty and fight against the poverty, Because we will not wait that the American or the French, the British people will help, Because as I told you before, they will not do it. They want to keep the money. They want to keep their powerful, So if they don't want to do it, we have to do it by ourselves, like a family, Even if we are the family of the poverty, we are a family first, And we have to grow up like that. That's my plan. I think that's a very good plan for the future. I'm talking about the politics, but not only the politics. I think that the private people, the private society from Pakistan with the private society from Africa, to stay in the same table and to find a solution, you know.
It's a really wonderful answer. I think this is the only thing that can save people from dying of hunger.
Exactly.
You said that countries must, the countries which are in, you can say, which are neighboring to each other and they are poor ones, they must understand each other's problem and should collectively work on that and you can say come up with a good solution. And this can be, you can say, this can be dragged down to the level of people, like in a community. Different communities can work on some, you can say, project of you can say giving food to the ones who are depriving of that. So
Exactly.
really, so I'm really very thankful to you for coming in this show. And
Thank you very much.
maybe my questions were maybe a bit different, but I was thinking exactly the same when I, you can say, went through your profile, because you have visited so many countries, and I was sure that you could be able to answer all those questions. Thank you very much for.
It was a pleasure, really.
Thank you very much again. Inshallah, I would try my best to interview or to talk to you soon with, you can say, a different kinds of questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, brother Mustafa. Take care of yourself.
Thank you.